What's going on, guys? MMA Island team. We got Zach, we got me, Michael, and we got a fight in the women's strawweight division. Ashley Yoder taking on Liviana Souza. Man, strawweight division. This fight was kind of weird to see. Obviously, Liviana Souza coming off the loss of Brianna Van Buren. We saw her loss to Tecia Torres, and people would think, looking at that fight, man, Brianna Van Buren lost to Tecia Torres, and Tecia Torres is on the end of her trail. So if Tecia Torres beat Brianna Van Buren and Brianna Van Buren beat Souza, Souza's not that good. You're wrong. I'm gonna go with Souza on this one. Man, the thing is just looking at her career, at least. Obviously, way back in Invicta, she fought Angela Hill, split decision loss. We obviously know how good Angela Hill is. Submitting Alex Chambers, and obviously the decision loss to Brianna Van Buren. Passing it on to Yoder, looking at her fights, split decision loss to Randa Marcos, split decision loss to Mackenzie Dern, and then obviously the decision loss to Angela Hill as well. Enough talking about the records, talking about the fight, at least what we know about these girls. They're both kind of submission specialists, and it's weird to see this one because typically what people say, the cliche is that if you get two people who are very good on the ground, it's just you're going to get an amazing striking war. I don't know if that's the case. These girls have a combined 2 knockouts in all of their fights, so I don't think we're going to get the most crazy of striking battles in the entire world, but we do have a great fight. I personally am hoping to see this one go to the ground, as I typically do in all fights, but gonna have to go with Souza here. I just feel like, man, she's very slick with her ground transitions. Obviously, she hasn't been getting these amazing amount of submissions. She only has one submission in her career in UFC, at least. Obviously, of Alex Chambers, as I mentioned. But man, the thing is you pass it down to bringing it back to Yoder. Is she had those 3 losses in a row by decision. And what I'm looking for with Souza here is I'm looking for Souza to kind of take her to the ground and kind of keep her there, as I tend to mention a lot. There's really no way I see around it. I just don't think Yoder's going to be able to do much from what I've seen. Liviana Souza is the better fighter on the ground. And I don't think Yoder's going to be able to finish her. And you look at, she has 0 KOs, so you can't really say she's going to knock her out. She has 4 submissions. But as I mentioned, I think Souza's better on the ground. Decision-wise, I don't see how she's going to beat her. You're talking about Brianna Van Buren beating Souza by decision. Brianna Van Buren is from what we saw with Tecia Torres, she's, as her nickname says, she's the bull. She's the striker. She had the volume strikes, and just being able to kind of push the pace against Souza. I don't think Yoder is going to be able to do that either. Maybe she can prove me wrong, but from everything that I'm seeing, I can't really pick against Souza here. So I'm going to go with Souza. 13-2. That's a very, very good record. Ashley Yoder, 7-5. It's not the greatest of records. Obviously, Yoder has the losses to Dern, Kish, Hill. Those are tough competitions, especially in the girls, in the women's strawweight division girls. And the Marcos loss as well. Okay, I'm just going to have to go with the person. Not so much vulnerability I've seen be more sufficient, but I just think the better person on the ground, I guess you could say the better striker as well. And just a girl who I think has had more fight experience and not so much competition-wise experience. I don't think Yoder's this crazy girl that's just one of the high ups that, if you fought her, man, you're one of the killers in the division. I don't think that's the case. So I don't really put too much stock into Souza's loss against Hill or Van Buren. Obviously, Van Buren's not one of those. But I will quit rambling. Going to go with Souza on this one, passing to the calculator. If I can find it, we scroll it back. We got it at a 67.7% chance for Souza to win this one. So it's pretty high, the calculator. I don't think I'm going to put it that high just yet, just because, as I mentioned, the competition differential probably would be put in Yoder's favor. But output wise, and from where we've seen their strengths, I have to go with Souza. I'll pass it on to Zach.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my secondary lock of the fight. And they're back to back. And most of this comes from, not that I'm too overly impressed with Liviana Souza, it's that I'm not impressed with Ashley Yoder. Well, yes, she has lost to, some very respectable names. There are also some not that respectable names like Justine Kish and Randa Marcos. And the fact that she lost to Randa Marcos when Randa Marcos didn't really use her grappling, she beat her on the feet. That's not very good. And I've never been, the only time I've been impressed with Ashley Yoder is her fight against Sherry Kondo. And Sherry Kondo is one of, off her back, Sherry Kondo is one of the worst fighters that has ever come into the UFC. Just on the ground, absolute mess. And Ashley Yoder looked good in that fight. And then she goes against Randa Marcos and she gets beaten. And I think what comes down to this mostly for me is that Lavinia Souza on the ground is going to be better than Ashley Yoder. Because if this fight stays on the feet, it's not going to. Let's just say that it's not going to go on the feet. There is going to be a takedown given by one of these fighters. And if the one thing that a lot of people are kind of mentioning is Ashley Yoder's height and reach advantage. They are massive. She is, let me just check here. She is 4 inches taller with 6 inches of reach. Now, I think that, she also has those long legs. And you know what's good to do with long legs? They're easy to grab and take down. And Lavinia Souza, I believe, is going to be able to take him down. But I've seen more dynamic submission game from Lavinia Souza off her back and on her front. She's dangerous wherever she is on the ground. And Ashley Yoder, I can't really say the same. If Ashley Yoder's on her back against Lavinia Souza, she's not going to get a submission. I believe that the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu pedigree is there with Lavinia Souza. And that's why I think she's going to win this fight. Also, Yoder's striking defense, not good at all. So if this fight goes on the feet, I will have to favor Lavinia Souza. So anywhere it goes, Souza pretty much wins. This is my secondary lock, just behind the fight before, just behind Herbert Burns. So yeah, I'm going Souza. This is a pretty high confidence pick for me.
Fair enough. So we got 2 high confidence picks. Just to add on to what you were saying about the whole height reach advantage thing, I just to kind of take it away from UFC talk. One thing I mentioned a lot of people talk about is when they say, when people say like, oh, I'm so much taller than you that, I could beat the crap out of you. It's like, man, you don't know this. When it comes to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you go to the ground, those arms are just longer for arm bars. So I think I'll go with Souza by a submission. I don't think I mentioned the way of victory, but I'll take Souza on a decision or a submission. We both got Souza on this one. I want to know what you guys got. Make sure you guys are showing your love in the comments, liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and for sure checking out the other Fight Pick videos. We really do appreciate it, guys. See you in the next one.